Hare Krishna, everybody. Everybody pumped up from my Guru Maharaj's Kirtan.
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhuji.
All right, we'll start with the invocation prayers. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijan Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, thank you all for coming. So today, we will be discussing the inquiries submitted by all the devotees on our previous discussion on the yoga ladder. So at the start, I thank all of you for your super excellent so many inquiries. All your inquiries are your mercy on me, that because of your inquiries, I got to read and research on so many topics. As we discuss each of these inquiries, please feel free to ask any and all follow-up inquiries. Even though each of these inquiries are by specific devotee, I am sure many of these inquiries apply to rest of the other devotees as well. Therefore, all should participate. Almost all of you completed the spiritual endeavor from the last class. It is only just a few of you who did not complete. I request all of you, those who did not complete, to please complete your spiritual endeavor, because we have a lot of volume of questions to discuss, and it is highly likely that we'll continue this question answer sessions in our next class as well. So it is very important to complete the spiritual endeavor, because I have record from all previous batches that all those devotees who do not complete the spiritual endeavor, they end up leaving Bhagavad Gita and the path of spirituality. So I want all of you to continue. Therefore, it is very important for all of you to endeavor, even if it is very simple inquiry. And I'm not disclosing anybody's names. So feel free to ask, or even striking points. Just put some striking points. We had so much heavy conversation at our last class, as well as throughout our Bhagavad Gita study. So everybody should have at least a striking point or an inquiry or both. So those who did not complete, so it was only very few devotees who did not complete the spiritual endeavor, you should complete. All right. So I'll bring up questions one after the other on the screen, and I will answer. And you can feel free to ask follow-up questions as well. First question: is meditation bhakti yoga devotional service activity to Krishna? Absolutely yes. Meditation is bhakti yoga. Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.23 describes the 9 processes of devotional service. One of these 9 processes of devotional service is meditation. So I have Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.23 on screen. It's a very well known and the biggest verse in Srimad Bhagavatam starts with Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pad Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam. So these are the 9 processes of devotional service which Srila Prahlad Maharaj has given these to us. Abhishek Prabhu, can you please read the translation from the screen?
Hare Krishna. Translation. Prahlad Maharaj said, hearing and chanting about the transcendental holy name, form, qualities, paraphernalia, and pastimes of Lord Vishnu, remembering them, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering the Lord respectful worship with 16 types of paraphernalia, offering prayers to the Lord, becoming his servant, considering the Lord one's best friend, and surrendering everything unto him. In other words, serving him with the body, mind, and words. These 9 processes are accepted as pure devotional service.
Does that answer the inquiry? All right. Question number 2. How do we measure bhakti? Especially when there is so much to do and so little time. If I want to be with Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan. So advancement in bhakti is measured by your attachment to Krishna and Krishna's service, serving Krishna and his devotees. On the point about there is so much to do and so little time, we have discussed this in Bhagavad Gita 2.41. Vyavasayatmika buddhir eke kuru nandana bahu shakya hai anantascha buddhayo avyavasyam. That those who are on this path are resolute in purpose and their aim is one, O beloved child of Guru. The intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. So a business person has one pointed interest to earn money. Similarly, if we don't have one pointed focus on Krishna consciousness, then our intelligence is many branched. That's why the question says there is so much to do. Why? Because your intelligence is many branched. And we have discussed this in Bhagavad Gita 5.17 verse, that one has to fix the 4 items of intelligence, mind, faith, and refuge completely on Krishna, because my consciousness moves in these 4 lanes. If these 4 items of intelligence, mind, faith, refuge are going in different directions, is like the 4 wheels of a car going in 4 different directions. Therefore, I cannot move forward on the path of spirituality. So right now, without me realizing, I am actually going in 4 different directions. So you all tell me if this is the case for you all also. The example is that, okay, I like Krishna consciousness and Bhagavad Gita philosophy. Simultaneously, I also like advancement by science. This is also nice. When I chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, oh, that is very nice. But when India wins cricket match, oh, I like that also. Means mind gets emotionally involved in cricket. I have some faith in Krishna. But you know what? Material world is not so bad. Meaning my faith is currently split. My goal is not so much Krishna. Yes, I want to go back to the spiritual world, but right now, I want to have a good time here also. Later, I will think of going back to the spiritual world. So, with all these, what is happening is that these 4 lanes are through which my consciousness moves is going in 4 different directions. Therefore, we are not steady. Now, the follow-up point on this question is that there is so much to do in Krishna consciousness. So yes, Anant Shesh has been reciting Krishna's glories from time immemorial in the past, and he is going to continue to recite Krishna's glories for time immemorial in future. And he has infinite mouths, and each of those infinite mouths is reciting different glory of Krishna. So Krishna's glories, Krishna's activities never end. So we have to find a balance between our health, our sadhana, and our service. If we say that I will keep on doing anything and everything that comes along, I will burn out. So the hierarchy is that health is first, then your sadhana is next. Sadhana includes chanting of your Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the prescribed number of rounds, studying scriptures, and then comes service. Most devotees have this hierarchy upside down, that they simply focus on service, 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 and then they don't focus on sadhana at all and the health at all. So if your health and sadhana is not proper, how are you going to do service? And I am the live example for this. That I spent this few years back, I did service to the point that I got so burnt out that I left the temple. And then senior devotees had to get involved to get me back on track. And the first thing they told me is stop doing all services. And I was like, but no, we have to do services. And they said, no, you need a balance. Yes, service is important, but balance is more important. So occasionally you may have to tilt one way or the other is different story. But generally, if you don't have a balance between your health, your sadhana, and your service, then you will burn out. Does that answer the inquiry, including the follow-up point?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you very much.
Everybody on the same page? Sumnima?
Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
So
Mhm.
I think I'm at the exact stage that you just mentioned about, almost in the phase of being burned out because of doing lots of service. But I was just wondering, isn't Bhakti Yoga means we should be doing service, and is there some sort of percentage, like do maybe 50% of sadhana and then 50 service, or is there something like that?
So, Sumnima, I already noticed this, and that's why I sent a direct message to you just recently. And you did respond that you were absorbed in so and so different service. So, yes, service is important. I did say a few minutes ago also, but balance is more important. And I gave you my own live example. And we have discussed this in the offenses to avoid class, that the spiritual activities that you do, meaning the sadhana that you do, is like pouring water into the bucket of spirituality. And offenses means you are punching holes in that bucket, so your devotional credits is draining out. So both are important. In your bucket of spirituality, you have to continue to pour the water, means you have to continue to do the chanting and simultaneously not punch holes in the bucket. So you need a balance. If you stop your chanting and simply do service, 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 is like you are not watering the plant at all. And you are simply trying to pluck the fruits out of the plant. Well, the plant will die down. That exactly will happen with your devotional creeper as well. That if you don't have a balance, your creeper will dry out. Your devotional creeper will fall off. So, Sumnima, service is important, no denying. Bhakti yoga is service is the key, but more important is balance. Exactly the reason, Sumnima, I did send a message to you offline that I noticed that you were swamped in something else, that because you are physically in a different country, so I don't know what exactly is going on. Sumnima, does that help you?
Yes, Prabhuji. So is it suggested that I, take some break and go and do more of my chanting? And then
Absolutely
when
correct. Otherwise, you will be like me and you will go away from the temple. And I'm not joking. For my own example, I actually left the temple. So, Sumnima, I was exactly in your place few years back, that I was doing service, 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 like 12 to 15 or more hours a day physically at the temple, and I burnt out and I left the temple. I said, this is nonsense. And I actually left the temple. I'm not joking. I actually left the temple. So is that what any one of you want? No, nobody wants that, right? And then senior devotees got involved in my situation, and the first thing they told me is drop all services. And I was like, what? But we are supposed to do services. And they said, right now your creeper has completely dried out. First, you need to water that creeper with your chanting and with your scriptural study. Then you get back on track and then find a balance. Sumnima?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. I think I much needed this.
Yeah, so you should have an offline conversation with me again.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Rest of you on the same page?
Yes, Prabhuji.
All right. Next question. Thank you everybody for participating. Question number 3. How to keep oneself motivated while trying to climb the yoga ladder? So very soon, Krishna will answer this in Bhagavad Gita chapter 8. We'll read those verses right now. Krishna is going to do a comparison of material world and spiritual world. In Bhagavad Gita chapter 8, Krishna will soon do a comparison of Bhakti Yoga versus other paths to establish that Bhakti Yoga is easier compared to other paths, and to further give an impetus to devotees, Krishna will do a comparison of material world and spiritual world to establish that material world is a place of misery, while spiritual world there is no misery. In spiritual world there is no birth, no old age, no disease, no death. So let's read Bhagavad Gita 8.14, 8.16, and 8.20. Chaitanya Prabhu, 8.14, 8.16, 8.20 translations.
Hare Krishna, 8.14. For one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain, O son of Pratap, because of his constant engagement in devotional service. 8.16.
Yeah.
From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. Text number 20. Yet there is another unmanifest nature, which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. Hare Krishna.
All right. Does that answer the inquiry that material world is full of misery, while spiritual world is never annihilated and there is no misery to begin with? Does that answer?
Yes.
Everybody on the same page? All right. Question number 4. Bhakti Yoga seems to be the easier path if we can connect all the experiences to our goal, Sri Krishna. It is easier to feel emotions of hate and anger because we can constantly see the objects or the people consciously and unconsciously with our material eyes. Therefore, the inquiry is how to move towards conscious submission through bhakti to the deity whom we have not seen physically. Hence, it is difficult to imagine. So, understand that the Archa Vigraha form, the deity form that we have at temples or at your home temple, these Archa Vigraha forms are non-different than Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan. Our blunt material senses are not capable to see Krishna's spiritual form. Therefore, Krishna accepts the Archa Vigraha form, which is made out of material elements, but the Archa Vigraha form is not material. The Archa Vigraha form is spiritual, so that we can see him and so that he can accept our services. So Srimad Bhagavatam 3.25.35. So 3.25.35 is the direct reference which explains this. I will bring up on screen. So we have 3.25.35 on screen. I request Manish Prabhu to please read the translation and purport paragraph number 1.
Hare Krishna. O my mother, my devotees, always seeing the smiling face of my form, with eyes like the rising morning sun. They like to see my various transcendental forms, which are all benevolent, and they also talk favorably with me.
So these words, Lord Kapila is speaking. Lord Kapila is non-different than Krishna himself. Continue, paragraph number 1.
They are so Mayavadis and atheists accept the form of deities in the temple of Lord as idols, but devotees do not worship idols. They directly worship the personality of Godhead in his area incarnation. The Arka refers to the form which we can worship in our present condition, Actually, in our present state, it is not possible to see God in his spiritual form because our material eyes and senses cannot conceive of spiritual form. We cannot even see the spiritual form of individual soul. When a man dies, we cannot see how spiritual form leaves the body. That is the defect of our material senses. In order to be seen our material senses, the supreme personality of Godhead accepts a favorable form which is called Arka Vigra. The Arka Vigra, sometimes called the Arka Incarnation, is not different from him. Just as Supreme Personality of Godhead accepts various incarnations, he takes on forms made out of matter, clay, wood, metal, and soils.
Right? So the Archa Vigra form is non-different than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So next time you go to the temple or at your home temple, don't think that you are looking at a deity. It's not deity. Call him Gopinath or whatever the respective name at your respective temples are. Call him Gopinath. Call him Krishna lovingly. Call him Govinda. Call him Keshav, not a deity. Deity is something I am considering as a statue. It's not a statue, it's Gopinath. And in terms of submission or surrender to Krishna, is by surrendering to spiritual master and by following the instructions of spiritual master as well as Krishna's instructions from the original scriptures such as Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. I still have a lot of talking to do for this question. I will pause here. Chandar has a question.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I just want to give you my example. I was asked to explain the Bhagavad Gita. I didn't knew much about the Bhagavad Gita at that time. It was 2015 in non-Indian people. And I just made it as a story, what I knew from little bit from my heritage. And those non-Indian people said they want to see the Krishna and Arjuna. So I brought them in the temple. And when they saw that like our murtis, he said, like they said, they all think that it doesn't relevant with the story. They didn't feel, but when I told them the story, they were really in this Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, you are correct. So why somebody doesn't feel the feelings for Krishna is because of the covering of ignorance. So you did very good of preaching to somebody new. It's a matter of time. And you can visualize for yourself. I mean, some of you might have come from having bhakti, a lot of bhakti from your previous life. But I did not have bhakti when these people who come and knock your doors and show the book. I used to do what now I see that I used to slam the door back. Why? Because of ignorance. It is when purification happens is when you start relishing spiritual topics and the Gopinath form. So it's a matter of time. You just have to continue to endeavor. Chandar?
But Prabhuji, those people are highly spiritual, and when I told them Bhagavad Gita's, they picked me because I was the only Indian in the group, and I made it like a presentation on Bhagavad Gita.
Very good.
Up to my knowledge, but when they came to temple, I saw their whole perspective was changed.
Yeah, you are correct. That when you say spiritual, on the yoga ladder, we discussed so many levels. So if somebody is at karma kanda level, they are also spiritual, but their spirituality is very little. So you cannot expect somebody at karma kanda to have the feelings for somebody who is at, say, Nishkam Karma Yoga or at Bhakti Yoga. So Krishna will go on to describe this in 18.66, that I have given you so many spiritual paths in Bhagavad Gita. But Krishna will say all paths are lower paths. They are all valid paths, but they are all lower paths. Bhakti is the highest, therefore focus on Bhakti. Chandar?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
All right, everybody on the same page? Abhishek Prabhu? Abhishek Prabhu?
Sorry, Prabhuji. No, Prabhu, sorry, I mistakenly unmuted.
All right. Question number 5. Can bhakti be summed up in devotional service plus feeling plus imagination? First, very important point I want you to understand, and we'll soon read also, that bhakti is not imagination. Bhakti means service plus feeling. Imagination does not exist in bhakti. Nectar of Instruction, text number 3, purport, explains this very same point. We'll soon read. Bhakti is not sentimental speculation. Bhakti is not imagination. Rather, bhakti is cultivation by activity of one of the 9 processes of devotional service, which we read from 7.5.23 few minutes ago. So I will bring up on screen Nectar of Instruction, text number 3, and we will read paragraph number 1 and 2, which says devotional service is not a matter of sentiment. So Chandar, if you want to read from the screen.
Devotional service is not a matter of sentimental speculation or imaginative ecstasy. Its substance is practical activity. Srila Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasa Amrita Sindhu 1.111 has defined devotional service as follows. Uttama Bhakti or unalloyed devotion unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, involves the rendering of devotional service in a way that is favorable to the Lord. This devotional service should be free from any extraneous motive and devoid of fugitive karma, impersonal jnana, and all other selfish desires.
Right, so the first paragraph says devotional service is not imagination. And the next paragraph, which starts bhakti sort of cultivation, explains that bhakti means service. Continue, Chandar, second paragraph from the screen.
Bhakti is a sort of cultivation. As soon as we say cultivation, we must refer to activity. Cultivation of spirituality does not mean sitting down idly for meditation, as some Pasidhu yogis teach. Such idle meditation may be good for those who have no information of devotional service. And for the reason it is sometimes recommended as a way to check distracting materialistic activities. Meditation means stopping all nonsensical activities, at least for the time being. Devotional service, however, not only puts an end to all nonsensical, mundane activities, but also engage one in meaningful devotional activities.
All
Should-
right. So we just read this same verse 7.5.23 few minutes ago. And Prabhupada says devotional service means doing one or more of these 9 devotional service activities of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pad Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. Does that answer the inquiry? I still have more talking to do for this question.
Yes,
Yes.
it's very
Yes,
clear.
Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, go ahead.
One follow-up. I met one student sometime. He had this idea that like if I believe something, it is true. And he gave this analogy that if I believe in Krishna, then he is there. So I had problem in explaining to him things because in our process, we know that Krishna is there, but the point that we have to believe it, our degree of faith also has an impact on our practice. So in some sense, what he said was true, but it was not entirely true. Can you throw some more light on this?
So you are absolutely correct that faith is very important. We already have had a lot of conversation about faith in 3.31, 32, then 4.39 and 40. And there is a whole chapter 17 on faith. So faith plays a very important role. More importantly, Abhishek Prabhu, what you have to realize for yourself that what is your level is how you will be able to preach. And we have discussed this with the levels of devotees as Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, and Uttam Adhikari. So by you doing the preaching activity, you are at the Madhyam Adhikari level. And if you recall the definition of Madhyam Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari's own faith is very strong. No one can shake his own faith. But the scriptural knowledge is not at the highest level. It is for spiritual master, meaning one who is Uttam Adhikari, it is for him to convert somebody based on the authority of scriptures. So very important for us to understand that when we go out on preaching, we preach according to our level. Otherwise, we will get this sense of failure or sense that I am not able to do. No, but you are trying to do more that you don't have the ability. I will tell you my ability. My ability, the preaching ability, is to take books and prasad from point A to point B and to show it to somebody. That's all. I don't have any ability to convert anybody on the strength of scriptures. I only have the ability to take the books and prasad from temple to the location where we are going for preaching, and we knock the doors and show and say, Hare Krishna, we have spiritual book Bhagavad Gita. Are you interested? That's my ability. If somebody takes, it is because Krishna has chosen them to get the Bhagavad Gita. If somebody doesn't take, okay, it's Krishna's desire. I have no role to play in that. So that's what we have to understand. In terms of your point that the devotee was explaining something and you were not able to explain or provide a reference or whatever it be, take the opportunity to take that person or that devotee to a senior devotee. That way you are bringing that person closer to Krishna by connecting him to a devotee of Krishna. Abhishek Prabhu, does that help you?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
All right. So the question number 5 continues, and I will continue to answer. So question number 5 has multiple points. So then the question number 5 continues that how can we enhance our feelings towards Krishna? How many of you want to increase your feelings towards Krishna?
Me, Prabhuji. Definitely.
Me too.
Me too, Prabhuji.
Me too,
Ji,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
All right.
Yes, well, Prabhuji.
I will give you directly from scriptures. The scriptural reference
Yes,
is
Prabhuji.
1.2.16. I will bring up on screen 1.2.16. Of course, this is a key memorization verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Shushushu Shraddhanasya Vasude Katharuchi Swayat Mahatseva Vipra Punya Tirtha Nishvenath. Dhara, translation from the screen.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. O twice-born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudeva.
Right, so when you serve the devotees of Krishna, your feelings, your bhakti to hearing more about Vasudeva or Krishna increases. If you listen to my spiritual master's lectures at the start, he'll be reciting the invocation prayers. There are a series of verses, about 6 or 8 verses from Srimad Bhagavatam. It starts with this verse, 1.2.16, and it goes till 6 or 8 verses in sequence, because this is the process. So this 1.2.16 to 1.2.22 is the step by step process given how to come to the level of prema bhakti. We'll have a heavy conversation when we reach there. Some devotees present here have already attended those Bhagavatam classes, but it starts right here. When you serve the devotees, that's when you develop your bhakti. So very soon Rath Yatra is coming up in Toronto in July, and across the whole world Rath Yatra will happen at different times from now onwards. So there will be so many visiting pure devotees. Serve them. And few devotees who are present here, who did services last time with me at the Toronto temple, we did service to so many devotees so that we get a taste of their bhakti. Does that answer the question? There's still more question to this question number 5.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Megha, you have a question?
No, Prabhuji.
All right. Dhara, you had a question?
Yes, Prabhuji. A few minutes ago, you mentioned few verses from Bhagavad Gita on faith. Could you please repeat those verses?
Yeah. 3.31 and 32, 4.39 and 40. So in both these sets of verses, Krishna is teaching by comparison that he talks about faith and faithless. And then chapter 17 is a whole chapter on faith.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Very good. And then this question continues further. The next part of question number 5 is how to imagine events related to the Lord during japa or during devotional service. So I already explained that you don't have to imagine. What you have to do is I will explain right now. So during japa, you don't have to imagine, rather you have to consciously hear your own japa, as well as if you are doing the japa in a group, then hear others japa also. And to consciously bring the mind back under control at the start, like how where I am at the sadhaka level, where the mind keeps running away. So at the start like this, to bring your mind back, you can remember Krishna's pastimes and Krishna's qualities, etc. Or you can have the Hare Krishna Mahamantra card in front of you So you can get the card from a temple, say Toronto Temple. The one side of the card has the details of the temple, address, phone number, etc. And at the back side has the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So take the card in your hand and chant by looking at each word, because that each word is Krishna himself. Now, many devotees from our previous batches have commented that the quality of their japa improved after they attended our Srimad Bhagavatam classes, because our Srimad Bhagavatam classes are not focused on philosophy. Rather, our Srimad Bhagavatam classes are more on how to relish Srimad Bhagavatam. So I request all of you, 100% of you from this batch 6 and 7, to join the upcoming new batch of Srimad Bhagavatam at batch 5, which will start middle of July 2025. It's not too far, it's just a couple months away. Again, the proper way to do japa is to hear your own japa. Although I am myself still not there, it's a work in progress for me also. And in the interim, because the mind is flickering and mind is running everywhere, to bring the mind under control, you can remember Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam verses, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's qualities. For me personally, at least, remembering Krishna via Krishna's qualities is slightly easier. It's just for me. For you, whatever works, you can do it. These Krishna's qualities are described in Canto 1, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chapter 8, Kunti Maharani Players, as well as many other places in Srimad Bhagavatam. So, I again will repeat that my humble request to all of you, 100% of you devotees, that from July 2025, a new batch of Srimad Bhagavatam is going to start. You all should join simultaneous to Bhagavad Gita study, the Srimad Bhagavatam classes, so that you get the best result. Your japa quality will increase, or at least it should, based on how it has improved for the devotees from the previous batches. Some devotees virtually present here and in this batch do attend the Bhagavatam classes from the other batch simultaneously. Maybe one of you would like to share your experience, those who attend the Bhagavatam classes. Abhishek, Matan, Mansi, Dara has also attended. You want to share some of your experience from the Bhagavatam class?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Right.
I feel that from Bhagavatam reading, it is easier to relate to devotees of the Lord who are kind of our way, or like our connection to Lord.
Right. Yeah, very good. Thank you. And Megha, you are correct. If you want to join after Bhagavad Gita, is your choice. I'm not going to force anyone. It's a recommendation. By the time of July 2025, in your this Bhagavad Gita, you will be finishing just about chapter 10, or you'll be just about starting chapter 11. Basically, you would have a lot of information by then to be able to start Srimad Bhagavatam also. So it's an option available for you. If you want to fast forward your spirituality, but if your time does not permit, then you don't have to stretch yourself. You can wait for the further batch to start whenever that starts. But you can take the advantage right now because nobody knows the future, what will happen. So you can try to take the advantage as soon as it is possible. Everybody on the same page? Does that answer the various components of question number 5? All right. Thank you. Next question. Next question also has multiple parts. One key obstacle to bhakti is our negative feelings or ego. Greed for materials is easy to identify within us. However, we cannot see our own ego. We can realize it through our japa and thoughts much later. At the same time, it is easy to feel someone else's ego. So series of questions are: how to be aware of own ego? Submission and ego cannot coexist. What process can we undertake to move from ego to conscious surrender? And how will we realize if we have completely submitted to Lord Sri Krishna? So the discussion for this point comes up in Bhagavad Gita chapter 13 and 14. Right now, I will briefly describe that why you are able to see your own ego or others' ego. It is because I am at bodily level of consciousness. Hence, I am stuck with my anarthas and my ego. Because one is at bodily level of consciousness, hence the attention is riveted to the body. So many of you will agree that if someone does something wrong to me, my consciousness or my thought is riveted to that person, that why is that person doing so and so to me? Why this happens is because not of the other person, because I am at bodily level of consciousness, and Krishna explains this in Bhagavad Gita 6.7. In Bhagavad Gita 6.7, Krishna describes 3 levels of dualities in the material world. Mansi, if you can please read 6.7 translation.
Prabhu, anyone can else read that because I don't have anything right now with me.
Yeah, Matan Prabhu 6.7 translation.
Hare Krishna. For one who has conquered the mind, the supersoul is already reached, for he has attained tranquility. To such a man, happiness and distress, heat and cold, honor and dishonor are all the same.
Right, so Krishna explains these 3 levels of dualities. He says Sita Usna. Sita means cold. Usna means heat. So this Sita Usna, heat, cold, Sita Usna, cold and heat, is at bodily level. Then Sukha Dukkha. Sukha is happiness, Dukkha is distress. Sukha Dukkha, this is at mental level. Then Man Apman. Man means honor, and Apman means dishonor. This is at the level of ego. And then in Bhagavad Gita chapter 14 verses 22 to 25, Krishna describes the characteristics of one who has transcended the dualities caused by the modes. Megha, are you able to read chapter 14, 22 to 25 translation? They are stacked together.
Yes, Prabhuji. 14.22 version. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O son of Pandu, He who does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present or long for them when they disappear, who is unwavering and undisturbed through all these reactions of the material qualities, remaining neutral and transcendental, knowing that the modes alone are active, who is situated in the self and regards alike happiness and distress, who looks upon a lump of earth, a stone, and a piece of gold with an equal eye, who is equal towards the desirable and undesirable, who is steady, situated equally well in praise and blame, honor and dishonor, who treats alike both friend and enemy, and who has renounced all material activities. Such a person is said to have transcended the modes of nature.
So one who is equal in honor and dishonor, as well as all these dualities, such a person has transcended the modes. So many of you have, from the other classes that you have attended, you have heard the Srimad Bhagavatam discussion from Canto 3, Chapter 5, which describes that we are largely created out of ego and ignorance. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, in the Kapila Siksha section, Lord Kapila also states the same point, that living entities are bound in the material world because of ego. Therefore, when someone dishonors me, my ego gets pumped up and I am riveted to bodily level of consciousness. Therefore, my attention is only to the thought that caused the dishonor to me. So this is also discussion in chapter 13, that we are supposed to develop aversion to fault finding quality. So the question says that I am aware of other person's ego. Ego is basically anartha or a fault. So I'm going to play a short Chaitanya lecture here, which I was supposed to give you in chapter 13, which I will anyway give you in chapter 13 also. But to answer this question, I'm going to play it right now. It's going to be an eye-opener. Short lecture is about 5 minutes. Take notes and we will come back to discuss. So I will play this short lecture of Chaitanya Chandas, where he explains that when I see faults in others, it is actually my own fault that I am seeing. It is just manifested differently. So let's hear from Chaitanya Chandas and we will come back to discuss this. Take notes.
What the faults we see in others tell us about us. We all have certain cravings within us, such as lust or greed. And our mind has a peculiar characteristic. What is present inside it, it sees outside. Thus, if there is lust or greed inside us, we often notice those objects that promise to fulfill those cravings, as well as those people who are pandering to those cravings. And if we are also trying to control these cravings and are trying to develop a conscience, then sometimes these cravings cunningly co-opt that underdeveloped conscience. How? By making us feel angry toward others who pander to those cravings rather than feeling angry with ourselves for pandering to the cravings. So, when we see someone indulging, because that craving is still there within us, we subconsciously or privately feel envious about them that they are getting an opportunity to enjoy, whereas publicly we condemn those people for being so materialistic and licentious. Thus the faults we condemn are present within us, though they manifest differently, not through indulgence, but through vehemence toward indulgence. This applies not just to cravings but also to ideological orientations. Sometimes liberals criticize conservatives for being intolerant. But then, when those liberals gain power, they often become just as intolerant in condemning or even censoring the conservatives. We need to know that whenever we obsess over the faults of others, we end up becoming, we may not manifest those faults exactly in the same way. But we don't become the opposite also. By condemning lust or greed, we don't become free from lust or greed. Rather, we become their mirrors. A mirror shows the same object, but 180 degree rotated. Similarly, our rage towards others' faults may well reveal the fault, that same fault present within us in a different way. So whenever we feel angry when someone does something wrong, rather than condemning them, we can pause to check whether that same fault is present within us, and our rage toward that person is simply a deflection or distortion of the rage that is meant to be directed towards us. So encouraging such self-examination, the Bible, Matthew says that, why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? Reading that message, the Bhagavad Gita states, 16.2, Apaishunam, aversion to fault finding, is a characteristic of the godly nature. Indeed, the faults we hold others guilty of are often the faults we ourselves are guilty of.
Okay, what did he explain? Somebody?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yeah, one point which he mentioned was the cravings which we have, sometimes it may manifest not as indulgence but as vehemence, which I understood as our criticism of that craving is sometimes also showing
Very
that
good.
we have it inside.
Very good. Tara?
When we obsess over the faults of others, we become their mirror. So, and it may not manifest exactly in the same way, but not even free from the cravings.
Very good. Monarch Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So one point he describes that when we try to see fault in others, like we should see ourselves in the mirror. Let's say if somebody is angry, rather than condemning them, we should check whether it is like that character is there in ourselves or not.
Very good. Annapurni?
It was the same, Prabhuji, like when we
are tempted to find fault in others, it's important to self-reflect and self-examine to see, and it's important to develop aversion to fault finding because that only reflects our state rather than the other person.
Very good. I'm going to give you the solution. That how do you avoid this? So we'll discuss this further in Bhagavad Gita chapter 16, divine and demoniac qualities, that all living entities are born with both sets of qualities. All living entities have divine and demoniac qualities. So if you see the bad quality of others, that same bad quality is either already existing in you or will very soon manifest in you. On the other hand, if you see the good qualities of others, then the good quality manifests in you. The solution to avoid fault finding is to see the spiritual potency of everyone and to always see the good qualities in others. We have discussed this in the offenses to avoid class, that try to see the good qualities in everyone. If by any chance, if you are not able to see a good quality in some particular devotee, instead of pointing out the bad quality, just turn around and look at the good quality of somebody else. By that simple turning around and looking at the good quality of somebody else, you are protecting yourself from manifesting the bad quality of others. Is that an eye-opener short lecture about aversion to fault finding?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So from this point on, at least, try to look at the good qualities. So it does not mean that you will turn off your eye when you see bad qualities. No, you will still observe. Just don't talk about it. Ensure that you don't do the same thing that you are observing, and visualize that actually that what I am seeing, the bad quality in others, is actually my own bad quality, because the other person is just being a mirror for my own bad quality. And try to rectify. Oh, wait a minute. I have that bad quality. Let me fix my own bad quality. So the last part of the question, which says, how do we realize that we have completely surrendered and submitted to Krishna? So Srila Narad Muni has explained this by his own personal example, that Srila Narad Muni in his previous life as a 5-year-old Shudra boy, he already became purified while he was in his previous life as a 5-year-old boy. Therefore, by complete surrender to the Lord, this 5-year-old boy was fearlessly able to travel through jungles all by himself, even when those fearful animals were present all around him. And full surrender means doing devotional service 24 hours, even while in this body, even while in this world. Does that fully answer question number 6?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. It was very helpful. Thank you.
Question number 7. How will conscious surrender change us internally? So I already answered that full surrender means fearless and always engaged in devotional service 24 hours. Question number 8. Can you please help me understand what kind of meditation is practiced in Bhakti Yoga? Is it chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra? So in Kali Yuga, the meditation is by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 17 and 18 describes that spirituality dwindles down by 25% in each yuga. Therefore, in Kali Yuga, spirituality is very little and will continue to keep dwindling. Therefore, to make spirituality easier, Krishna infused all the spiritual potency in the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, that the lifespan in Kali Yuga is less than 100 years, and you are doing the simple chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and you are achieving the same result that somebody in Satyug was meditating through Ashtanga Yoga for some 50,000, 60,000 plus years. So Krishna has made it easier and easier and easier in Kali Yuga because the spirituality is dwindling. In Satyug time, meditation used to be by chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So it still is Bhakti Yoga process, just the mantra was different. And the reference for this is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 8, verse 53-54, where Srila Narad Muni, a spiritual master of Dhruv Maharaj, asked Dhruv Maharaj to meditate on the Paramatma by chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Does that answer the inquiry? All right. Question number 9. In the picture shown in the class for destinations attained by various paths, where does Paramatma realization lie? So you have the visual of the entire creation again on the screen. Some of you did ask me for a copy of this. I request you to please take a snapshot from the screen for this. And the devotee who has asked this question, thank you for listening to the class recording with rapt attention. Now, the destination of the Ashtanga Yogi who is meditating on the Paramatma will depend and will vary on the aspirations of Ashtanga Yogi. Some Ashtanga Yogis want to go to heaven, or want to go to Brahma Loka, or want to go to Brahma Jyoti, or want to go to Dhruv planet where Shirodakshai Vishnu resides. So Shirodakshai Vishnu expands as Paramatma in all living beings. Or some Ashtanga Yogis only want Siddhis. And because Siddhis are material, hence such yogi continue to stay somewhere in the material world with the Siddhis. So it will vary, it will depend what the Ashtanga Yogi is aspiring for, and it can fall at so many different places. This is described in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7. Srila Vyasadeva, who is Krishna himself, attained perfection by following Bhakti Yoga. And Srila Vyasadeva attained perfection of Bhagwan realization. So while he was traveling or attaining that perfection of Bhagwan realization, Srila Vyasadeva bypassed Brahman effulgence and Paramatma realizations, because both Brahman effulgence and Paramatma realization are not complete spiritual realizations. And this same point, Krishna also explained to Arjuna in chapter 5, that Arjuna was trying to follow Gyan Yoga path. So for Gyan Yoga, the destination is Brahman effulgence. So this fine line that you have on this chart, this line you have, it's this dividing line, that is Brahman effulgence. So it's not a very tiny space, it's a very big space. Just on the chart, it's tiny. So Krishna is explaining to Arjuna that Arjuna was trying to follow Gyan Yoga path, and the destination is Brahman effulgence for Gyan Yogi. And Krishna says Bhakti Yoga grants you what you can achieve by Gyan Yoga. So Bhakti Yoga can also give you Brahman effulgence if that's what you want. Plus Bhakti Yoga also gives you much more, that only by Bhakti Yoga you can attain the highest realization of Bhagwan realization. So whosoever follows Bhakti Yoga, they will know that at Brahman effulgence there is no activity, and Bhakti Yoga means activity, means doing devotional service. Therefore, they will not choose Brahman effulgence even though that option is available to them. Does that answer the inquiry? All right. Question number 10. How to remember Krishna every moment in devotional service? So I'm going to give you a laundry list right now for what we have discussed throughout our Bhagavad Gita study, plus a lot more discussion is going to come up. So I'm going to give you a laundry list to make your 24-hour day as becoming remembering Krishna 24 hours. In Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, which means in Nectar of Devotion, in spirituality, there is only one principle, that always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. Rest of all the so many rules and regulations that we study and follow, all those so many rules are servants of this one principle, to always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. So I have this on the screen, and obviously this is a key verse to memorize. So this is from Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu or Nectar of Devotion, what you have on screen, that the essence of all regulations is to always remember Krishna. Smartavya satatam Vishnu, vismartavyo na jatusit, sarve vidhi nishedasur, etar eva kinkara. Monica, are you able to read the translation from the screen?
Yes, Prabhuji. Krishna is the origin of Lord Vishnu. He should always be remembered and never forgotten at any time. All the rules and prohibitions mentioned in the Shastras should be the servants of these two principles.
Very good. So, throughout our Bhagavad Gita study, we have discussed many practical aspects. And right now, I'm going to give you a laundry list of all of those and more, which we'll also be discussing. Some of the more, which we'll be also discussing in our upcoming classes, so that from this point on, you can endeavor to remember Krishna 24 hours. So Krishna is absolute. So whether you remember the form of Krishna or the words of Krishna or the pastimes, qualities of Krishna, all are identical. So here are the steps for you all. So set up a wake up alarm at 4:34 instead of 4:30 and remember and recite the spiritual master verse 434. Tadvidi paripatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnanina tattvadarshina. And if you happen to wake up in the middle of night, you can say to yourself in your head that it is still not spiritual master verse time, or set your alarm at 5:29 instead of 5:30 and remember and recite that Krishna is the only Bhoktaram. This verse, Bhoktaram yajna tapasvam sarva loke maheshwaram suhadram sarva bhutanam gyatva mam shantim rajati. And again, if you wake up in the middle of night, you can either remember the verse or recite the whole verse or say to yourself that it is still not Bhoktaram time. What are you doing? In your sleep also you are remembering the verse. Next, you wake up while you are taking shower, memorize verses. Otherwise, your taking shower is a waste of time. You can make your shower as bhakti yoga by remembering verses, memorizing verses. Next, when you leave home, instead of leaving at 7 a.m., leave at 7:01 and recite the Bhagavad Gita 7.1 verse. The 7.1 verse is the basis of entire Krishna consciousness. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Sakta Mana Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashaya Asamsayam Samagram Mam Yata Jnanasi Tachunu. Next, while you are driving, look at the number plates and correlate with Bhagavad Gita verses. Memorize and or read the verse. If you drive for about 1 hour every day, one way to work or study or wherever you are traveling, you will end up remembering all 700 Bhagavad Gita verses in no time. Next, when you reach office, say around 8 a.m., remember and recite the essence of chapter 8. The essence of chapter 8 is 8.5. Antakale chamam eva smaran muktva kalevaram ya prayati samadbhavam ya eti nasti atra samshaya. Next, say you have a meeting at 9:30. Remember and recite the very important 9.30 verse. Apichetsu duracharo bhajate mamananya bhak sadhureva samanyata samyak vavastita hisa. Or if you are in a meeting, is say 10 o'clock, remember and recite chapter 10 verses 8 to 10. These chapter 10 verses 8 to 10 are the essence of entire Bhagavad Gita compressed in these 4 verses. Next, while you are honoring lunch, you listen to Srila Prabhupada lecture or Kirtan, etc. What are you doing? You're remembering Krishna. Next, while you are driving back again, correlate your car number plates around you with Bhagavad Gita verses and remember and recite and read those verses. Next, you are doing chores in your house such as cooking and cleaning. Remember and recite verses or listen to Srila Prabhupada lecture. You are remembering Krishna. Next, just before going to sleep, you read Krishna book, one paragraph, or just look at the beautiful pictures in the Krishna book, and Krishna will come in your dreams. So even while you are sleeping in your dream, Krishna is coming. It's 24 hours remembrance of Krishna, not just while you are awake, even while you are sleeping. Some other practical day-to-day examples are that when you listen or you see the lottery advertisement, which generally says, so many of you in North America or here in Toronto and around area, it's impossible to miss the lottery advertisement. The lottery advertisement goes something like, which says, oh, dream big, your dream vacation or a dream house or a dream helicopter, blah, blah, blah. Well, remember and recite Bhagavad Gita 2.62. So even though the advertisement is the lottery advertisement, you convert it to Bhakti Yoga by remembering 2.62. Dhyayato Vishayam Pumsa Sangasteshu Pujayate. Sangat Sanjayate Kama Kama Krodha Abhijayate. So Dhyayato, imagination. Remember our discussion from 2.62 that seeing and hearing is not the problem. Rather, dhyayato, imagination is the problem. Another day-to-day practical example, which is coming up in our upcoming classes, Krishna says, I am the sun. Krishna says, I am the moon. And the color of the sky is blue because it is a reflection of the effulgence of Krishna's bluish body. So you either see the sun or you see the moon, you see the sky all the time. Well, remember Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita 7.8, Krishna says, I am the taste of water. So every time you drink water, remember Krishna. So right now, many of us are from India and around region where there's cricket match going on, IPL. Well, cricket goes on 365 days. Can remember Krishna from cricket. How? Krishna says, I am the ability in men. So if you like sports, whether it be IPL going on, cricket going on 365 days, or any other sport, all sports have special players. In cricket, we have special like Dhoni, Bumrah, Kohli, and there are so many others. All of them have special abilities, therefore they are able to perform so well. So remember Krishna, that the abilities of Dhoni, Bumrah, Kohli, or whatever be the special player of the sports you like, all these abilities are coming from Krishna. These are the ways to almost make 24 hours to remember Krishna. Now, more practical examples are coming up in our upcoming Bhagavad Gita discussions. And right now, I was memorizing so many verses, and many of you have seen the Bhoga offering demo from my home temple, where I am reciting verses from Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and other scriptures while preparing breakfast for Gopinath. And many of you saw in that live demonstration that I was doing the breakfast cooking and simultaneously reciting so many verses. Or many of you from Toronto area, when we come for services at the Toronto temple, you have seen me in practice that I recite verses while doing all the cutting and washing pots and cooking. So how I remember all these verses that I was reciting like a parrot right now is because I practice what I explained to you all as the so many ways to remember Krishna 24 hours. And as I stated for one of the earlier question, that many devotees from previous batches have commented that the quality of their japa or the remembrance of Krishna 24 hours has improved from our Srimad Bhagavatam classes, because our Srimad Bhagavatam classes are not focused on philosophy alone. Rather, we learn to relish Srimad Bhagavatam. Phew! Was that more than enough ways to remember Krishna 24 hours? Does that answer the inquiry?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Everybody, this question applies to all of you. Did I give you literally how to remember Krishna 24 hours?
Yes, Prabhu, yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Very good. So
Yes,
practice.
Prabhuji.
Thank you. Question number 11. Is it possible to measure our ego? So I did show you the size of my ego, which makes me think I am bigger than all the infinite material universes combined. You can consider to listen to Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 3 Chapter 5 class recording on primary creation, which explains that our body, our material world, is largely made out of ego. So ego causes attachment to body, means ego causes I-ness, as well as ego causes attachment to all the things related to body, means ego causes mindness, that this is mine. So the more you are attached to your body and more you are attached to all the things associated with the body is the size of your ego. Or you will notice in the material world, many people say, I am always right. Hare Baba, we have 4 defects. How can you be always right? When somebody says, I am always right, that is your ego talking. Does that answer the inquiry? Chandar?
Prabhuji, I have a question. when we see in this practical world, if we don't have ego, we cannot do the work either, because we become lazy and don't feel that we are important.
Yeah, so you don't have to become lazy, and you don't have to think that you are not important. Everybody, every single living entity has a role to play. So in the workplace, you need to be humble, and somebody will say, well, if I am humble, then everybody will keep jumping on me. So we'll discuss this humility point at great length in chapter 13, verses 8 to 12. The chapter 13, 8 to 12 verse starts with humility, amanitva. Humility means that I am not eager to receive honor. And at workplace, humility, how you can practice is that you are purpose focused. So assume at my workplace, say I am a team lead. And in the team, a junior person is also there. And if I am egoistic team leader, I will say I am always right. You follow what I am telling you to do. Versus if I am purpose focused and I have humility, and a junior person comes up with a suggestion which is better for the project, if I am humble, I will accept a junior's suggestion because I am purpose focused. If I am not purpose focused, if I am focused on my own ego, then I will say, hey, who are you to give me suggestion? I am telling you I am right. Whether the project fails or not, that's secondary. So Bhagavad Gita gives you various ways which are coming up discussions on how to live in the material world at the level of soul in a dharmic way, no matter what be your circumstances. Chandra, does that help you?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
All right. Question number 12. Difference between following the directions given in scriptures and its realization. If it is not realized properly, can a devotee reach directly from Karma Yoga to Bhakti Yoga in Yoga ladder? Very good inquiry. All inquiries are very good. So understand that by your own study of scriptures, it is little difficult to understand the scriptures. Rather, if you do devotional service, then Krishna will give you the realizations from within, as Krishna has said in Bhagavad Gita chapter 10, verse number 10, Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. So the gopis and gopas of Rajwas, they never studied any scriptures. But because of their high devotion, Krishna gave them the required knowledge from within. For someone like me, I don't have devotion. I need to study scriptures to establish a footing on the path of spirituality. While someone with high devotion, they can just focus on doing devotional service. Now, both are valid paths. It's what works for you or what is required for you. Now, towards end of Bhagavad Gita chapter 9, as well as chapter 18, verse 56 onwards, Krishna will go on to say that whatever be your level on the yoga ladder, don't worry about it. Just add bhakti. And the bhakti process is so potent that bhakti will elevate anyone and everyone, whether one is woman or Shudra or low born, those with incidental and accidental falls, doesn't matter. Bhakti is so potent that bhakti is going to lift you up. Therefore, focus on doing one of the 9 processes of devotional service, which are possible for you regardless of your bodily age, such as chanting is also devotional service. A perfect example for this is Mother Chandra Aunty from batch number 1 and 2. She is close to 80 age or somewhere around there. Even the vision is not perfect. But she is doing devotional service. So there are 2 japa groups. She leads those japa every time. I mean, others also take turns to do japa. But no matter others are present or not, Mother Chandra Aunty is always there, except when she had to go to a hospital for some surgery. Except for those days, that's a different story. So Bhakti Yoga is possible for everyone, no matter your age. You can just find an activity that is possible for you, or you can have an offline chat with me. And we can discuss as to what is possible for you. So simply focus on doing devotional services rather than worrying, oh, I haven't understood the scriptures. Well, it is very difficult to understand. Do devotional service and Krishna will give you the realizations from within. Or the same Mother Chandra Aunty and her husband, when during COVID time, we were doing this book distribution. Well, some devotees would do the phone calls and some devotees will go and deliver. So that arrangement for the travel to connect for person A to deliver to person B at so and so time needed that communication between one and the other. Mother Chandra Aunty was doing it. She was doing devotional service. She was doing book distribution. Even though she herself does not have a car, even though when she has to travel, because of her age, she has to travel by wheel trams. So Bhakti Yoga is possible for everyone. Or even at the Toronto temple, you have Dharmaprana Prabhu, His Grace Dharmaprana Prabhu, who is little handicapped. But he does japa, first person in the temple hall, always there, before 4 o'clock, before anybody, some of them have even woken up. He does kirtan, he serves charnamrit, he serves prasad to everyone. So bhakti does not mean you have to do something sophisticated. Simple things, what is possible for you, just do those bhakti items. Does that answer this question? I'm pretty sure this is applicable to all of you.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Only couple devotees answered. I'm pretty sure everybody would want to do bhakti yoga, or at least should do. All right. Question number 13. Is it important for a sadhaka to try to follow some amount of Ashtanga yoga like niyam, then pratyahar? We have discussed about these practices before and seems like they can be helpful in bhakti yoga if followed properly. So we discussed in Bhagavad Gita chapter 6 that from Ashtanga Yogi Sadhana verses of chapter 6 verses 10 to 32, we identified few items that we can use while doing Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. Examples are engage body, mind, soul in Krishna's service, have one-pointed attention on chanting, the sitting posture, should not eat too much, should not fast too much, should not sleep too much, should not stay awake for too long, practice yoga with determination and faith, abandon all material desires born of mental speculation, control mind and senses whenever and wherever the mind wanders, bring it back under the control, compassion for all. So we discussed all these practical items that you can use in your Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga stages. Now, Pratyahar is shutting off the senses. So we have discussed that no activity is very difficult for a soul because soul is always active. In Bhakti Yoga, as is described in 5.11, that we engage body, mind, and even our senses in Krishna's service, and by engaging senses in Krishna's service, our senses get purified. Mohit Prabhu, are you able to read 5.11 translation?
Yes, Prabhu. The yogis, abandoning attachment, act with body, mind, intelligence, and even with the senses only for the purpose of purification.
So you use your body, mind, and senses only for the purpose of purification. So you can use certain aspects of Ashtanga Yoga, but not Pratyahar. And further, in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, in the Kapila Siksha section, Lord Kapila, who is Krishna himself, explains the meditation of Ashtanga Yogi. And Lord Kapila described this meditation of Ashtanga Yogi not just for Ashtanga Yogis, but Lord Kapila described this for we all sadhakas and bhakti yogis also. So at some point, I will be providing you these Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 3 meditation verses. And these verses, even though they are specifically for Ashtanga Yogi sadhana verses, these will actually help you remember Krishna even more than what is possible for you right now. Does that answer the inquiry? All right. So the next few verses are on Ashtanga Yoga and Gyan Yoga. Although I will answer, but there is no point in spending time on Ashtanga Yoga and Gyan Yoga because Ashtanga Yoga and Gyan Yoga are not the yoga processes for Kali Yuga. Question number 14. Can Ashtanga Yoga be practiced without going to the forest? So we read in Bhagavad Gita chapter 6 verses 11 and 12 that Ashtanga Yoga is to be practiced at a secluded place. Now it could be a challenge to find a secluded, peaceful place in city life. If any one of you has ever experienced curfew, during which time regular traffic is not allowed, believe me, it is really, really silent time. The amount of noise in the material world, which we have become accustomed to, but during the curfew time, you can judge that amount of noise, that noise is not there. So during regular time could be a challenge to find a secluded, peaceful place. If you can, you can practice by all means, but anyway, Ashtanga Yoga is not the yoga process, so what's the point? Does that answer the inquiry?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
Question number 15. What kind of meditation does Ashtanga Yogi perform? Do they meditate on Lord Krishna or on the impersonal Brahman? Ashtanga Yogi meditates on Paramatma. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verses 29, 30, and 31, Krishna has said that, by the way, the Paramatma that the Ashtanga yogi is meditating upon, I, Krishna, I am that Paramatma. Does that answer the inquiry?
Yes.
Question number 16. If there are no external activities, can Gyan Yoga be practiced without going to forest? A repeat question I already answered. Question number 17. If Gyan Yogi refrains from action, that what kind of austerity is actually performed? So the sadhana of Ashtanga Yoga and Gyan Yoga itself are austerities, such as celibacy, mind and sense control, no material desires. All these itself are austerities. But again, Gyan Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga are not the yoga processes. Does that answer the inquiry?
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So we do have about 10 minutes left for today, and we still have a lot more questions to discuss. So the question count so far goes up to 23. So I still have a lot of questions to answer, which will obviously we will not finish today. So do you all want to take a pause and just absorb and ask follow-up questions? Has this been helpful? Are you all on the same page in terms of the yoga ladder discussion that we have had? Go ahead. Chandar.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. I have a question regarding Bhakti Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga and Gyan Yoga. When we see in present world, it's more Ashtanga Yoga is popular.
Yep.
And Bhakti Yoga is there, but people feel the peace when they do some asanas or Ashtanga Yoga and all that. It's been increasing. And it has a good result too, and it's going to the whole world. And I have a lot of friends too. And my question is, when we do bhakti only, the mind flicker more, like it goes. But with Ashtanga Yoga or Gyan Yoga, when this analytic mind come to rest, it goes within faster.
So your understanding is incorrect. In chapter 6, verses 46, I think it's 46 or 47, in the purport, Prabhupada explains all this point, what Chandra just described about all these yogas that are going on, which are generally focused on body, not the mind. They are doing the yoga for bodily fitness, and Prabhupada calls them as childish, thinking that that yoga is going to connect them to the Supreme. It is not possible. In terms of what Chandra pointed out, that looks like my mind is more agitated is a very important point, which we'll discuss in our upcoming classes, that what is actually happening is actually purification happening. And the example to understand this is that, say, when you put your clothes in a washing machine to wash, when you look at the clothes, they don't really look that dirty. I mean, some, if they are covered in mud, is obvious. But certain clothes, if you are wearing it once or twice, they don't generally look dirty. But when the water comes out from the washing machine, the water is dirty. So what happens is that in the washing machine, that dirt is coming out. Similarly, by the process of bhakti yoga, the dirt which is accumulated on the mind and the soul, that is coming out. So temporarily it will feel like I'm in a bigger mess. And a better example to understand this is that, say you are trying to clean a room. When you come to the room has everything kept in proper places. So say the chair is at a proper place, table is there, the lamp, everything is in proper place, and you want to clean each corner of the room. The first thing you will do is you will rearrange all that furniture either in the middle of the room or take it out. And if somebody walks while you are doing that cleaning, you will that person will say, hey, you are creating a mess. That the room was organized before properly, now it looks like a bigger mess. That's what happens with our mind while we are doing the bhakti yoga process, that the dirt is coming out, which causes more agitation. Looks like it's causing more agitation, but actually it is a process of purification. So the other people in the material world, and some people actually sit in the middle of an intersection on the side, and they are sitting in some asana and doing Ashtanga yoga. It's ridiculous. It is not possible. You judge for yourself. Can you sit silent for 30 seconds? Close your eyes. All of you, close your eyes for 30 seconds. I'll pause here, and you tell me what was your mind doing. So let's do that practical exercise. I will have pin drop silence. You all close your mind for 30 seconds and try to meditate. Starts right now. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Everybody, please share your experience. What happened in the 30 seconds? Were you able to control your mind?
No problem.
No, Prabhuji.
No, Prabhuji, it was flickering.
Right? So if the mind is flickering, so what you are seeing externally, that somebody is sitting silent, but the mind is still agitated. They are not attaining anything. What needs to happen, not the physical external, but mental has to calm down. Chandra, does that help you?
Prabhuji, partly it's help, but I have, can I say something more? Like when we do the asana and all that, the mind stops.
So hold on. You can do the same thing while you are breathing. You can judge that, say, when you are angry, your breathing runs very fast. And if you take deep breaths, it calms you down. So mind is always flickering. So those bodily exercises, they can help you to a certain extent, but that is not yoga. Yoga means to connect to the Supreme. That yoga is not helping you to connect. It's only helping you in the interim. Use it. I'm not saying don't use it. But don't think that simply doing by those yoga bodily exercises that you will attain Goloka Vrindavan. That's what I want you to understand, that that is not the yoga to grant you Goloka Vrindavan. Or if you want to go back home to Godhead, Bhakti Yoga is your only option.
Thank you, Prabhuji. That clears it.
Very good. So I will right now share the striking points, and rest of the questions I will answer in subsequent class. So striking points, there are 5 slides, take snapshots. Many of devotees did a spectacular job. I have this one point highlighted in yellow on screen. There are various parts to reach Bhakti Yoga. So on our yoga ladder, I had 10 paths. It's not restricted to 10 paths. So the devotee had said there are 10 paths, which I have edited to saying there are various paths. There can be other paths, such as someone can go from animal life to bhakti yoga. There is example in Srimad Bhagavatam of this hunter that he was half killing animals and he got special mercy of pure devotee Srila Narad Muni. He goes on to become a pure devotee. So it is possible. Or even these levels that we have, there is no watertight division. Somebody can go to bhakti yoga from Sakam. All the point I'm trying to make is that there are various ways to reach bhakti yoga, not just restricted to the 10 paths that we discussed. Everybody on the same page, and the devotee who mentioned this point also. There are multiple devotees who have said this. I only highlighted one place. Everybody on the same page? All right. So this
Yes,
is slide number 1. There are 5 slides for you to take snapshots. The second slide, I also have a very important point highlighted, and I will read this, that if karma yoga is done with devotional intention, then this person is higher than the one who has renounced the world. This is a very important point, and therefore I highlighted. I mean, there are so many important points that many of the devotees pointed out in the stacking points. I'm only highlighting 1 or 2. So this is slide number 2. Take a snapshot. Slide number 3. Slide number 4. And slide number 5. So what I said at the start of our conversation, that almost majority of you did the spiritual endeavor. For the few of you who did not do the spiritual endeavor, I request you to have an offline chat with me. There's only a very few of you who did not complete. And because our conversation of these inquiries will continue in the following class, I request you still have an additional option to complete the stacking points and inquiries again. Or if others, you have still more inquiries, by all means, complete, submit your more inquiries, and I will answer any and all inquiries for you. So it's very important to do spiritual endeavor. I have a record that from all the previous batches, all those devotees who did not do spiritual endeavors, they left Bhagavad Gita study and they have left spirituality. So I don't want any one of you to leave spirituality. So please endeavor. If you have challenges, have a chat with me that what is possible. I am not sitting here with a stick. I am here to serve you all. I am here to help you all. So take advantage of me. So I request all of you to continue to do endeavor. There are many important endeavors coming up in our subsequent conversations, which are also going to be eye-opener for all of you. So please endeavor at least on the inquiry part, because you again have an option for this. We are just past 11:45 here in Toronto time. We'll stop here. Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.